Bronya Sejik. Snowy Sniper. Okay. So let's talk about the fashion first. Let's talk about ignore the big menacing robot that's behind her. Let's just look at the fashion of this battle suit. So, as usual, kind of like what I talked about in the past streams. So this game, instead of just releasing a playable character and that playable character has their own abilities, they release battle suits, which, you know, the same character can have multiple battle suits, and each battle suit has its own combat abilities. And then within each battle suit, you can have different skins. And at that point, the skins are just aesthetic changes. They don't actually change their combat abilities. So I am going through for Honkai Impact, going through the different battle suits since the beginning of the game, going through their different combat mechanics, taking notes to kind of parse that out, because frankly speaking, this game's combat kits are probably some of the most complicatedly the kits themselves are not complicated, but the wording, the way they're worded is probably the most complicated I've ever seen in a video game. So we gotta parse them out and clean them up and put them into some nice clean one-page notes as for what these divas actually do, because in the end what they actually do can fit on one page. It's really not that bad once you meld it all together. So I'm going through from the beginning of the game to present day. So we're still kind of at the very beginning of the game with our divas. So we're gonna talk about this specific one today, Miss Snowy Sniper, Bronya Zaychik. Now, the fashion. The scarf is odd. You cannot picture what material it is made of. It's made of wrong answers only. Is it giving? Let's see. What is she giving? You know what it is? It's giving styrofoam. You know what I mean? The styrofoam scarf, like she just, what is that? Like, no, what's the word? Oh, not styrofoam. It's that what's it called? It's insulation. What is it? What's it called? Insulation foam. You know, when you can do the spray for insulation, you spray you spray the insulation spray. So you spray the insulation and it slowly expands. We've used that kind of insulation before. That's what she has around her neck. And then she just for a little bit of an aesthetic moment, you know? You know what I mean, Sansan? That's what her scarf is made of. Now let's see, the jacket. I do like the purple. The purple's giving. Oh wait, okay, Miss Starry Pauldron. The little pauldron on her jacket. Okay. Okay. The skirt. Does she do? This skirt does not do her duty. The skirt does not do her duty. The skirt does not do her duty because I do believe I'm perceiving some cheeks in the back, but she's not wearing a thongasi, so I'm more willing to forgive in this scenario. Now the boots are giving, like the boots are giving prosthetic, which there is actual lore related to that. There is lore related to this. The actual boots themselves, these are some sickening boots though. Look at these, honey. I like those boots. That makes more sense than anything else. The fashion is, quite frankly, a little bit bland. I'm not really feeling much out of this, just like her deadpan expression. It could be worse, but as usual, let them have an actual skirt. Exactly. Now what do we, oh, look at this. You went from Snowy Sniper to carrot and beet soup. What, you mean borscht? She is Russian, by the way. So she said, I want my jacket, and I want it in orange. Orange and gold. This is actually kind of a sickening combination because it's kind of almost inverted. The black dress with the more like gold toned jacket is kind of a serve. Ooh, with these brown boots? Yeah, that's kind of a moment. What's the last one? Oh, she's giving us pumpkin realness. Now who is she? Honey. Okay, I guess these are booty shorts. These are actual shorts at this point, so I'm not gonna pick it apart. I guess you can call this more of a tunic than an actual like dress. You know, it's more of like a little tutu moment. It's cute. We don't need to see this skin here. We don't need under boob on this diva here, so they could have just extended this as a little like as a full moment. Oh, we've got some asymmetry going on though. Hold on. The asymmetrical glove combined with the asymmetrical sock. That's kind of it's a serve. Hoyo does love its asymmetry. It's not just it's actually not just Hoyo in general. There seems to be like Chinese RPGs in general seem to adore asymmetry. Like that seems to be really big in their fashion. The back would be really cool if we didn't see butt. The back, yes, if this back was just like slanted downward a little bit more, that would be really sickening. That is true. Wait, what is this? Oh, I thought she had like I thought she had some cross. I guess they kind of are cross earrings. What are with the cross earrings, honey? Her bust, this bust is kind of sickening the way it's giving jack-o'-lantern. That's kind of cunt. I do like that. I don't understand. I suppose these pumpkins are just existing by sheer force of will. Because I don't really understand what they're connected to, but you know what? Sometimes you don't need to understand what they're connected to. I do love the boots. The boots are really serving. The massive flare on the boots, that's a serve, honey. I sped through that because we need to talk about her lore and that creature behind her. So, Miss Bronya. So, um, how do I even start this? It's gonna get wild. It's gonna get wild. Please imagine what this diva is back. Because last time we talked about Kiana and May and their sort of backstory about all the different things that happened before the start of this game. So let's talk a little bit about what happened to Bronya before, what happened to her before the start of the game. And whatever you think it could be, I promise you, it's gonna be even more wild than you expect. So, what we talked about last time was how this game takes place in like a fictional Earth setting. The beginning of the game is very Neon Genesis Evangelion coded. There's, you know, this poison called Honkai that corrupts all life, but it's a secret. Shh. And when Honkai converges into an individual, it crystallizes, turning them into a monster called Hersher. Prior to the events of the game, there were oh, let me put myself in the Honkai Impact category. Prior to the events of the game, there were 3 such awakenings of Hershers. The Hersher of Reason about a century ago, the Hersher of the Void about 20 years ago, and the Hersher of or not even 20, it's a little bit less than 20 years, less than 2 decades ago. And then the Hersher of Thunder, which was just a couple of years ago. So, the second the awakening of these Hershers, they called them eruptions. So you have the second eruption, which was the awakening of the Hersher of the Void, in a laboratory in Russia. In Honkai Impact, Russia is where that occurred. Okay, we're giving Russia now. And Bronya's life was impacted by that because Bronya Zaychik was in fact born in Russia. And when we don't really know what happens to her parents, but she is an orphan, and as an orphan, she did get tangled up with some Russian gangs, and she became an assassin with these Russian gangs. And during one of her assassination missions as a little girl, as a child, an assassin child. During one of her assassination missions, her target was a woman by the name of Cocolia. Now, the divas who have played Honkai Star Rail will know who Cocolia is, but I'll talk about that. Don't worry, I'll get to her. But the Russian gang fails against murdering Miss Cocolia, and she kills all of them instead, except for Bronya. She says, I cannot kill a child. She says, I will not be murdering a child. So she actually takes Bronya with her to her own orphanage. So Miss Cocolia has her own orphanage, so she becomes Miss Bronya Zajcik's Matushka. And so at that point, Bronya kind of finally got an opportunity for a little bit more of a actual childhood instead of, you know, being an 8-year-old assassin. She meets a diva. There's a couple of divas. There's a couple of divas at Cocolia's orphanage. We're only going to talk about one for now, which is Miss Zila. Now, a lot of the divas who have played Honkai Star Rail, this is all going to start sounding very suspicious. I will talk about it, but Miss Zila was another one of the orphans at Cocolia's orphanage. It actually was a happy place there. Zila and Bronya were very close friends with each other. Cocolia belonged to an organization called Anti-Entropy. I'm not going to talk about them today. We'll talk about that later on when we get through the actual events of the story. But basically, you can think of Cocolia as sort of a military woman. And after her life was significantly impacted by that second eruption, by the awakening of the Herrscher of the Void, because that event caused widespread disaster to occur. And so following that, Cocolia kind of made it her mission to make sure the orphans would all be able to resist Honkai. So she worked tirelessly to try and amplify their resistance to Honkai energy. However, at one point, Bronya pissed off one of the other orphans, and the other orphan pushed her down the stairs, which broke her legs. Both of them. And I told you Bronya's lore was gonna be a wild ride. It was gonna be a really wild ride. So then, Anti-Entropy wanted to engage in some experiments on people with Honkai resistance, and they wanted to use one of Cocolia's orphans. Bronya was planning to volunteer herself, but Zila, knowing that, Zila kind of went ahead of her and volunteered herself instead, because Zila has something called a stigmata, which we'll talk about that concept when we actually talk more about Zila herself. So Zila went to Anti-Entropy's laboratory and engaged in their experiments on Bronya's behalf, but Zila failed at the experiments, and she was lost in something called the Sea of Quanto. That'll all be a part of the story later on. We're just talking about what happened before the story. What happened to Bronya before she came to Saint Freya Academy? So after Bronya found out that Zila went missing, Bronya said, I am going to unalive myself, Miss Cocolia, if you don't let me participate in that experiment so I can see if I can find and rescue Miss Zila. So she goes and she does the experiment. She's able to get in contact with Zila in the Sea of Quanta, but she's not able to lift Zila out of the Sea of Quanta. Instead, Zila was able to give her some ancient technology, which is this robot. that is behind Bronya, and Bronya named it. That was the only thing that Bronya could pull out of the Sea of Quanta during the experimentation process, and she has named this robot Project Bunny. And this Project Bunny is kind of has always been present in Bronya's life, and ever since. Let me guess, a bunch of young Russian women assassins. I'm so sorry, Russians. You're more than the storyline. It's always the assassins when the Russians are involved in fiction. It's always the assassinations. Um. Anyway, so after that, due to the experiments, um, Bronya was severely corrupted because of the experiments that occurred. Two things occurred. Her broken legs became completely useless after that. So that's why she has prosthetics on, because her legs just were gone at that point. So she actually had to have prosthetics on her legs. That's why when you look at all of her like earlier, that's when you are they prosthetics or are they not? Make up your mind, Hoyo. Were they prosthetics or were they not? Girl, oh dear me. This is what we're gonna analyze this one next time, divas. Oh dear me. Are they prosthetics or are they not? Because in some of these early, because you can see some of them are very much giving prosthetic. But then that one right there, yeah. Why is it that just that one doesn't have her in prosthetic? All of the rest of these are very much a prosthetic moment. Let me see that one again. I don't want to see that one again, but I will. Unless the prosthetic starts at her knees. Maybe it's just that oh, you could, yeah. I guess the prosthetic just starts at her knees instead. Do you have young Russian woman? Do you have young Russian women in fiction? She came from an orphanage and has either body modifications, prosthetics, or elaborate sleeper soldier training. The story is wild in a predictable way. It's wild in once you know she's Russian, it's wild in a predictable way. So she has prosthetics, and then her emotional capacity was destroyed. So her brain was impacted by the experiment as well. So this is the reason why she's kind of become a stone cold individual. I forget why. I forget what it was, but at some point, when was it? How did she end up with Kiana and May? There was an attack on something. Let me look really quick. Oh, Bronyo was sent on a mission by Cocolia after Ride in May, but instead of capturing Miss May, she basically joined them instead, and that is how she ended up at Saint Freya Academy. Now, Bronya goes through a lot of character development. I mean, this is original Bronya, and you know, it's somehow we get to this point, right? Bronya somehow gets to this point. You can see there's Bronya gets the most changes with Miss Bronya as compared to all the other characters in this game. So that's everything that happened to her before the game started. Let's look at the kit now. Let's evaluate Miss Kit. Okay. Yeah, the butt crack is a little bit much. Okay. So let's get through this kit. So her leader ability, yeah, she physically actually grows up. Okay, what is this? Oh, this actually looks like a really good leader ability. The team's ultimate evasion or perfect defense cooldown is shortened, is reduced by 3 seconds, which is pretty big. Because ultimate evasion abilities, ultimate evasion passive abilities are usually quite powerful. Okay, what do we got here? So she deals 40% more damage. I guess I'll put this as a passive. Again, see, another passive related to dealing more damage to shields. What else do we got here? S. To inflict. When attacked, there is a 40% chance to inflict lock the attacker. Inflict lock? Sure. When Bronya is attacked, oh, this is an S ability. Excuse me. Let me put this in the S abilities category. When Bronya is attacked, she has a 40% chance to let me think about the wordsmithing. She has a 40% chance to I don't want to use the word, and normally in Honkai Star Rail terms, I would call this debuff vulnerability, because that's the terminology that Star Rail uses. But I don't actually know 100% or not if the same kind of distinction takes place in Honkai Impact or not. If vulnerability is a debuff or not. Let me Google the Honkai Impact damage formula. That'll tell me right away. If it exists. Yes, it does look like this distinction. Yes, there is a distinction to apply a 30% physical vulnerability for 6 seconds. Why does this distinction matter? We talked about this a little bit in the past with damage math, but in this scenario, these kind of percentage boosts can be either additive or multiplicative. What does that mean? So if you have a 20% damage bonus and a 25% damage bonus, when you calculate your damage, you add those two things together for a total of 45% damage bonus. Does that make sense? So you're really increasing your damage by 45%. But in a scenario like this, where let's say you have a 20% damage bonus and a 25% vulnerability bonus, which is essentially a different kind of boost, well then these become multiplicative. So you multiply those boosts together, which gets you to an actual 50% damage bonus. So typically having a nice smooth smear of multiplicative boosts is always going to be better for you in the long run than having a large sink into additive boosts. That's why I wanted to understand if this game had a distinction between regular damage bonus and vulnerability bonus. What do I mean by that? Hoyo, I think this is actually, I think this is not applicable in Zenless Zone Zero. Yes, Zenless Zone Zero, they do not do this. But in pretty much all of the other Hoyo games, no, I don't think Genshin does this either. Star Rail and Honkai Impact, they will have this distinction where you will have damage bonus, which oftentimes will be described in phrases like, this character will deal increased damage. And then they will often have a vulnerability bonus, which is multiplicative with regular damage bonus. And vulnerability is typically a debuff that is described as the enemy takes more damage. That's why when I saw making the enemy take more damage, I had to think, like, does this game use the same distinction that Star Rail does? And it looks like it does. Okay. At least 5 meters away. Okay. So Bronya's ranged crit damage is increased by 25%. Okay, her evasion. She temporarily enters another dimension to evade attacks per. I'm gonna assume that Bronya can also evade up to 2 times because every character seemingly can. Bronya can evade attacks up to 2 times in a row. After evading, she can deal 60% ice attack to the attacker. Whoops. Okay. When triggering ultimate evasion, actually I'm gonna maybe and boop. Am I block? Oh, I'm starting to block the terms. How do I make this not block the terms? Ugh. Okay, I don't want to make it too small. When triggering ultimate evasion, she inflicts 6 rhyme trauma and slows nearby enemies move and attack speed by 50% or 7 seconds. What's the cooldown? What's the cooldown on her ultimate evasion? They forgot that little detail. This actually goes to 10 seconds. And 80%. Is there no... Maybe there's no cooldown. Shortens the cooldown. So what is the cooldown, Diva? Oh, they forgot to post what the cooldown for this is. Well, that's awkward. Don't they... This is messy because they already have reduced attack speed. I guess it's actually... whatever. Whatever, I'm not gonna get pedantic about that piece. Oops. Okay, her basic attack. So, Bronya... So, what's very interesting is that this first kit of Bronya is not giving any information about how much damage it deals. Unlike the other characters, there's no damage numbers here. Bronya can launches a small missile? I don't even know what type of damage she deals. Is it ice damage? Is it physical damage? Diva, this is a messy kid. Physical. Everything shows physical. Physical damage. Bronya can charge up her basic attack to deal increased damage. Releasing the Releasing the attack button upon entering the next charge sequence. I'm just gonna say that. And her charged attack has 30% increased. Whoops, I did 40. 30% increased crit rate. This is a messy kit, y'all. Force evasion when attacked during charging. Bronya can automatically evade when attacked while charging. Once every 4 seconds. Evading in this way will not interrupt her charge. Okay, so we got a triple S. Releasing the attack button upon entering the third. Okay. Sure. I'm gonna say when her charged attack is fully charged, its crit damage is increased by 25%. Okay, what's her ultimate do? Summons Arctic Snow. Okay. So her ultimate, how much SP? It doesn't, see, again, they don't show the cooldown here. Oops. This is a messy kit. Consume 70, which makes sense. This might have been like one of the very first kits they ever wrote. Consume 75 SP to inflict 18 rhyme trauma on all enemies and deal 150% ice attack. I'm not sure I'm following. Okay, this is a passive though. Oh, she doesn't have a QTE. Oh, it's in here. When Bronya uses her ultimate, her total damage increases by 40%. See, total damage is another multiplicative thing to damage bonus and vulnerability by 40%, and charging speed by 60% for 12 seconds. Enemies affected by Land of Frost are locked for 12 seconds. Enemies affected by this ultimate are unable to move for 12 seconds and take 35%, take additional 35% physical damage. The party additionally deals 15% increased damage to enemies in the ultimate. Okay. Oh, that was an SS. She's got a lot of S and SS abilities, doesn't she? Her special attack. Okay. Dimension shift. Who the fuck is Dimension Shift? Who's Dimension Shift, Eva? Hello? Is the Dimension Shift in the room with us? Evasion. Okay. Switching into the field immediately triggers Bronya's ultimate evasion. Upon entry or evasion, Bronya gains 30% move speed for 8 seconds. QTE. Bronya's QTE is triggered when an enemy is knocked airborne. There's a lot of these too in the beginning. A lot of stuff about QTEs being triggered when enemies are knocked airborne. Deal 200% physical, AoE physical attack, and inflict 5 rhyme trauma. So, it's not 280, it's 520. Very finicky about when they're gonna post the numbers and when they don't. Okay. Let me level her up just a little bit, because I wanna... I wanna unlock... Oh, I already have her in S? Oh, I guess I already have her at S. Oh, that makes it tricky for any of the A ranks that I have that have S-focused abilities. Oop. That's okay. Okay. Let's test the diva out. Let's look at the kid. Let's look at what she does. So, in reality, it seems that all she can do from an attack perspective is really this charged attack. And her ultimate seems to be, her charged attack seems to be pathetic. But her ultimate seems to be rather sticky. So she definitely seems to be a character who you only want to use when her ultimate is active. Because during her ultimate, she also has increased charging speed. So she can use her charge attack faster. Her leader passive, frankly, looks to be one of the most useful ones from the ones we've seen so far. A lot of the other ones were just like, boost defense, boost HP. This one actually reduces ultimate evasion cooldown, which ultimate evasion is a concept that is still used in modern day Honkai Impact. You know, even some of the more recent kits, like who just released Miss Spy. She's still got ultimate evasion in her kit. See? Ultimate evasion. So, that's a concept that has actual longevity to it. Alright, let's get in. Oops. Let's get in and see what the diva's all about. Is it open? Okay, Memorial Arena is open at this point. Training mode with Miss Bronya Zajczyk. Snowy Sniper. I'm gonna put in Miss Sparkle. Did I do... Oh, that's okay. Miss Sparkle, and then, I don't know, for moral support, Big Bronya. Just for a little bit of moral support, honey. We're gonna do the B difficulty. I'm scared because if I want to get in Sparkle, she's gonna murk them. Let's do the A difficulty. So let's see what you got, Miss Bronya. Yes, Project Bunny is always hidden away. Oh, I'm gonna reduce the volume here. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, that's pathetic. What do you got for a charge? That is a really long time, my diva. Oh, look at her. That she's approaching a new dimension. Oh, wait. I need to change the notes. Unlike all the other characters up until this point, she cannot evade 2 times in a row. up to once. Once in a row. Does that phrase make sense? Once in a row? Give me some SP. I want to dodge. Let me see. Ow. So she's dealing ice damage actually, because the damage number, ow. The damage number there is blue. I'm pretty sure she's dealing ice damage actually. Not physical damage. That deals ice damage. Not physical damage. Because the numbers are, I can't tell. Oh girl. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure physical damage is more on like the yellowy side. We'll find out when we use her ultimate if the color. Oh, why is that still on the screen? Go away, shush. We'll find out if the color matches when we. Oh my goodness, when we use her ultimate. Sparkle, don't you have your ultimate ready yet? I need it. Girl. Give me the SP. Oh, that was the ultimate evasion. Oh, there's the rhyme trauma. The rhyme trauma is full, honey. Fire. Ow. Oh, she's almost dead. I'm not paying attention. I was not paying attention. I was too distracted. Anyway, let's get straight into her ultimate. Thank you, Sparkle. Oh, so that's her. That's her fun little QTE blast. Give me something. Oh, okay. So there is no actual attack. It just inflicts the rhyme trauma. Oh my goodness! Look at that, honey. I'm in a corner. That was sickening. That ultimate was really sickening. Did you see that? Can we do it again? Sparkle, can we get a repeat, please? Thank you, bro. Thank you, Sparkle. Oh, did you see that? She did automatically dodge. Hold on. It was on cooldown. Ow. Oh, see, she dodged right there. That was sickening. Look at the ow. Ow. This is sickening. Look at this. Pretty, actually. Oh, that's where the snowy sniper comes into play. Ha ha ha. She's a snowy sniper. Did you just hear what she said? She just said, yes, master. And for that, we're leaving the game. Thank you, Bronyo. Her ultimate, the rest of her kit was very much, she's very much put her on the field, use her ultimate, get her off the field kind of character. I think the type of cannon fire that she initiates changes with the weapon you equip. So if you equip a different, actually let's experiment with that. I want to experiment with that. I'm curious about that because we had her there with the default cannon. What happens if I put her on this one of Bronya's other cannons? Let's swap her out. Let's swap it out, Diva. Where's Bronya's other cannon? This one. Yeah, let's use Silver Wings cannon on it. I'm curious with a capital to you. Did I do? No. Training mode. I want to see if the cannon fire is a little bit different. Ow. Did it? Please get me out of the corner. Well, I froze it. Oh, something was different there. Hold on. It is different, see? Urious? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna sate my curiosity. I'm also going to sate the desire to do another kit because it's 8 o'clock, girls. It's 8 o'clock, divas. We gotta start Tales of Symphonia, but the one we're gonna do next time.